That's how the interactional process. Simple, but not easy. And a lot of times when I'm working on avoidance, which pattern pops up? Avoidance. It does. Or one of the other monkeys sticks its little head in the game. So we need to learn about all of them. Oh, by the way, before we move off avoidance, there's different types of avoidance. The one type is avoidance by saying nothing. And a lot of people we work with, they're in that one big time. If I don't talk about it, they're not going to challenge me. Okay? The other one, the next one, have you ever been in a conversation with somebody about something very interesting and exciting, and all of a sudden the topic got changed? Or something very painful, and the topic got changed? Either somebody on purpose or unconsciously used avoidance by distraction. So that's the second type of avoidance. What I see in treatment milieus a lot is the one we call avoidance by uproar. Trauma and drama. Any of you ever work with any drama queens, drama kings in your programs? Yeah. They create an uproar, right? A diversion. And it's really, that's one of the 12 monkeys. And then the last one, and nobody in this room would ever do this one, so don't worry about this one, but it's playing dumb or pretending not to know. So I didn't know that was against the rules. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to park in that space last night, even though Joe said there's a sign. Absolute denial. It's anybody that thinks I have a problem's out of their freaking mind. I know I don't. No, not me. The underlying mistaken belief is I convince you and me I don't have a problem. Problem solved. So we need to educate them. You have a problem and you're denying it despite having all this evidence. And yesterday, by the way, you were telling me that you thought this was a problem, and now today you're saying it's not. Help me out here. I like to play Columbo. Joe likes to play Mark Twain, or Huckleberry Finn. So once we educate them, we need to challenge. You can handle this. You can deal with this. You know, as long as you don't have to keep shooting yourself in the foot. You're going to run out of toes eventually, and then you're going to start going for the kneecaps. Stop. Don't go there. And I'll show you some different ways, and you decide which one works best for you. Or we'll look and we'll get the group to help out. Group work. This works so good in groups. It's much more powerful to do this in a group setting. Then minimizing. This is the most common out of all 12 patterns. Seeing a problem is less serious than it really is. My wife Helen and I, for about 12 years, were volunteering for Women's Empowerment in Sacramento. It's a program whose mission is to end homelessness one woman and child at a time. It's a job readiness program that helps women get job ready and gets them safe, affordable housing. And these are women that were living under bridges up in Sacramento. And some of them have 2 or 3 kids under 5 or 6 years old. And we go in the first week and do this inter-saboteur session with them and help them. And one of the major patterns they use is minimizing, because if they didn't, they would really freak out when they say, oh my God, I have 3 or 4 kids and I'm living under a bridge. What's this going to do to my kids? So but they need to identify it. So educate. You're trying to convince yourself the problem isn't bad so you don't have to solve it. And, as long as you keep minimizing it, it's only going to get worse. And then a lot of times what I'll do is I'll stop and say, here, get a piece of paper. I want you to draw a diagonal line down the paper like this. And I want you to number it 1 through 10. So you're going to have 10 slots. Say this is a slide, and you want to have 10 stops on this slide. On this slide of 1 to 10, with 1 being just barely a problem, 10 being a catastrophe, what number do you see your problem at? On a 1 to 10. And a lot of times we'll say a 2 or 3. And knowing full well from doing the intake assessment, I know it's probably an 8 or 9. And so, okay, good. So then tell me, what would a level 10 problem look like? Describe it to me. And I said, the only thing is we both have to agree that it meets the criteria for being a level 10 problem. So we'll negotiate till we get it. Okay, so now we're going to take a step back, take a few deep breaths, let's get our stress down, because sometimes talking about that elevates stress, right? Let's get the stress down. What would a level 9 problem look like? 10% less serious. Most of the time what I get is a paraphrase or almost identical repetition of their level 10. I said, no, that still sounds like a level 10. 10% less serious. Oh, they start getting antsy at this point. Then let's go to level 8. And here it says, you SOB, you're manipulating me. It says, absolutely. I own it. And that level 2 or 3 problem was a 7 or 8. Now, the other thing is, let's say it really was just a level 2 or 3 problem. My next question is, how bad are you going to let it get before you take action? Because up here at level 1, it's going to take, say, 10 pounds of effort to stop the ball rolling down to destroy you. By the time it gets down to 5, it's going to take 100 pounds, 10 times more effort. And by the time it gets down to the bottom, 1,000 times, and you may not be able to stop it. So even though it's a level 2 or 3, how bad are you going to let it get? Then we move into my favorite. This is the one I use the most. As much as I've been doing this work, it still pops up, especially in my relationship with Ellen. That's because people closest to us tend to trigger the most reactions. We are special partners put here together to learn some life lessons on planet Earth as a spiritual being. We're not mortals on a spiritual quest. We're spiritual beings on a mortal journey. And we chose this journey, so this one keeps getting in the way of my journey. If I have a good enough reason, there should be no negative consequences, is the major theme, right? Anybody have that one besides me, the rationalizing? And what you're doing is you believe having a good reason is going to solve your problem and keep you out of the painful reality. Ain't going to happen that way, but that's what we think. You don't have to rationalize the problem. Good reasons don't make bad consequences go away. What a powerful phrase. I have that one on here on purpose because that's the one I say to myself. And are you willing to stop focusing on why you have the problem? I have this big thing. I put in big letters, why, circle, cross. Step away from the why. Why doesn't matter at this point. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? I think too many times in treatment, we want to focus on the why rather than the what. Especially early on, we need to focus on the what, not the why. The why doesn't matter at this point. For relapse prevention therapy, when we get them stable enough for that, that's when we go into the why. Blaming. Ooh. This is the one that hurts us intrinsically more than anybody else. Because it puts us in a victim role. It really does. The mistaken belief is, it's not my fault, so I shouldn't have to do anything. And I've heard this one over and over from many of my pain patients. It's my doctor's fault that got me hooked and addicted on these meds. I shouldn't have to be here in this freaking program. Says, well, do you think the doctor's going to come in and do the program for you? I don't think so. So it's blaming. You believe somebody else's fault, so you don't have to do it. You can and should accept responsibility for the problem. And there's a difference between blaming and assigning accountability or responsibility. Those are two different animals. And let's stop focusing on who's to blame and start focusing how to get into the solution. How's that sound? So again, reframe, positive reframe all the way through. Then we move into compare. This is the one reason I don't want to mix chronic pain patients with straight addiction patients. It gives them too much ammunition. I'm not like that. Now, some people compare the other way, though. Oh, those other people, they're much smarter than me, have more money than me, they live in a better place than me, that's why they can get help. I'm homeless. How can I ever get sober? Compare. So it can go either way, right? It can go either way. Or you get entitled people coming into a treatment program. Athletes, movie stars, etc. I'm different than these peons. I'm talking extremes here now. And I've worked with a lot of professionals and some entertainers and stuff, and that's one of the first things we have to get through, is we're human beings. What you're doing is calling comparison. If somebody is worse than you or better than you, that proves a point. So compare good or compare bad, doesn't matter. Other people's problems don't matter. Other people's situation don't matter. You matter. I don't have them in the room with me. I have you in the room with me. You are the one that matters. So let's focus on you. And then manipulating. Any of you ever feel like your client's trying to manipulate you just a little bit? Joe, any of your patients ever tried? No. Not long. He's in denial. So manipulating is, and you probably all read the drama triangle, victim, rescuer, persecutor, right? Well, this one plays into that one, Poor me, come save me, but you never do it right, so it's your fault. Here we go. It's manipulating. You only admit you have a problem if I agree to solve it for you. I'm not going to go to those meetings for you. I'm not going to do any of that stuff, repair relationships. That's your job. You can and must solve it yourself. I respect you enough to not do it for you. I said I have 36 years in recovery. I have 34 years of Al-Anon recovery because AA and NA got me sober, but Al-Anon keeps me that way, kind of thing. I've got to work on my countertransference and codependency because this population really pulls for that. Would you agree?
Yes.
So, other people can't do it for you. Nobody's coming to rescue. Now, guess what? For a lot of our patients, there's always somebody rescuing them. But it's not in their best interest, and we need to help them see that. That's why the family needs treatment too. Stop that merry-go-round. Are you willing to stop trying to manipulate me, work with me to make a problem-solving plan? I don't want to hear compliance, because that's the other thing that can happen is compliance. Now, there's two denial patterns on fear. One is scared straight, and the other is fear of change. For the pain patients, most often it's fear of change. Who would I be without my identity as a pain patient? How am I ever going to cope without my pain medication? That one is a biggie. But for, let's say, other people say, we need to start developing a relapse prevention plan for you. He says, no, do you think I'm ever going to go back and do that again? Do you realize I almost died this time? I will never do that again. Until 3 days from now. So we want to take them through that. I like to use some acronyms for fear sometimes. The common one, false evidence appearing real. The politically correct version of the next one is forget everything and run. And then what do you think the solution one is? FEAR. There's two versions of this one. The solution. Face everything and recover, or face everything and rise. So we need to transition people out of one to the other and help them see that it's in their best interest to do this. So stop focusing on the fear and start solving your problems in spite of your fear. I've worked with a lot of combat vets. A couple of them have had Medal of Honor, some Silver Stars, Bronze Stars. The common denominator that once they built rapport and trust with me was they shared they were scared to death when they did what they did to earn those medals. And they did it anyway. So, fear, we have it built in. It's part of our fight, flight, freeze, right? We need it. Otherwise, we do some pretty stupid things and get hurt or dead. So we want to let people know that, no, I don't judge feelings good or bad, but they're comfortable or uncomfortable. So compliance, this is the one I miss the most often. I miss this one the most. And when people are pretending to go along. There's a big difference, though, between compliance and surrender. Sometimes they look the same. So a lot of times how I discover this is I get them all the way through the workbook. The last exercise is to motivate them for the next level of care or treatment. And they'll say, no, I got it. I'm all cool. I don't need no more treatment. I missed this one. And then flight into health, I'm suddenly cured. Anybody know that one? In treatment, 2 or 3 days, a week or two. I nailed it. I got it. I graduated. I'm an overachiever. I don't need to keep going to those stupid meetings. I don't have to keep staying in your treatment program. I got enough. I'm healed. For the pain patients, my pain's now manageable. The pressure's off with my doctor, with my family. I don't need to keep doing what got me better. The metaphor, again, I like to use a lot. Some of you were here yesterday. The process of healing and recovery is like walking up a down escalator and having a mistaken belief, if I stop, I'll stay still. That's that one right there. And then strategic hopelessness. And there's two faces of this one, pretending to be hopeless or getting hopeless. And again, all these are in the handouts that you guys can download. And this was my second favorite. I have the right to be this way. Anybody identify with that one? It's my life. I'll do it the way I want. It's my body. I'll put whatever I damn well want in it. Nobody has the right to tell me what I can do in my own home. Anybody ever hear that one? And if you believe having the right to die should allow you to enjoy the process and die in peace, that's Terry Gorski's intervention. I don't use it quite that way because I don't have his style. It works for him. It doesn't work for me. You don't have to die, and even if you want to, you wouldn't die in peace. Anybody sees people dying with late-stage addiction? It's not peaceful, is it? It's ugly. So are you willing to give up your right to drink drugs, screw up your life, and die in order to learn to live? Bottom line, right? So I'm going to quickly go through the next set because I also want to get people into the right brain by using art. So I want them to describe the pattern, come up with an artistic interpretation. So again, title and description. My way or the highway?